So when the Beatles split up in 1970, and as was expected, they all kept releasing solo music in the ensuing decades, I'd like to think that over time they repaired their relationships and even friendships. Of course, they were still competitive in the charts, the music charts, as each one tried to outdo the other. And though they all enjoyed the continuing status of being rock stars, they were not always able to compete on the same level with each other. In 1997, Paul McCartney was the recipient of an exclusive honor from the Queen herself. Paul was knighted on March 11, 1997, at Buckingham Palace by Queen Elizabeth II. He was granted the medal by the monarchs for his service to music. From that day onwards, he was known as Sir Paul McCartney. George Harrison, on the other hand, was somewhat insulted by these happenings. It came down to the fact that only Paul's service to music was recognized by the Crown, even though Harrison and Starr, for that matter, were just as much as part of the Beatles as Paul was. Of course, John was already dead, so not sure if the award could be given posthumously. A few years later, in 2000, George was offered the royal honor of his own, and the Queen was due to give him OBE of his own, but George turned it down. Ray Connolly, a friend of the Beatles, explained how hurt Harrison was, having felt by this limp gesture, especially after McCartney was given a knighthood. Connolly said whoever it was who decided to offer him the OBE and not the knighthood was extraordinarily insensitive. George would have felt insulted, and with very good reason. Harrison didn't completely miss out, however. The Fab Four had already received MBEs back in 1965. At the time, the quiet Beatle noted that he didn't think you got that sort of thing just for playing rock and roll music. When the Beatles received their awards in the 1960s, Harrison and the rest of the band were quizzed over the MBEs. They were asked if they thought they deserved them. Harrison replied, "It's not up to us to say that. The Queen must have thought so, or she wouldn't have given them to us, would she?" Despite the fact that Harrison turned down the Queen's generous offer, he previously admitted he didn't hold any ill will towards the monarchy. He noted how Queen Elizabeth was all right. The Queen's, it's different like the president over here in the USA, he said. The president seems to be the heavy guy, whereas the Queen just, goes around waving all the time, and it's really her karma. Her, the fickle finger of fate pointed at her, and she happened to, she didn't split and she had to go around waving, but she's a nice lady, and that makes it even worse somehow.